Hello, Pastor Deborah here again, and we're beginning another episode of our wonderful love story called Agape Love Podcast. Love is here, a love story of the ages. I've been working through this big book I wrote years ago when I was just learning how to help people the Lord's way, from being a licensed clinical mental health counselor in the state of Florida and a nationally certified clinical mental health counselor in America. I was a powerful representative of mental health counselors, both in America, sat on 3 committees. I think it was the Public Policy and Legislative Committee, which I worked with public policy, legislators, state laws, federal laws, insurance companies, and with the Professional Standards Committee, which I worked with universities and professors. I also was the chairman of the nomination committee to nominate the new officers. And at the same time that I was learning how to help people the Lord's way, I also was the state representative here in the whole panhandle of Florida of the Florida Mental Health Counselors Association. I attended state meetings, I held local meetings, I wrote newsletters, I kept the licensed clinical mental health counselors and potential counselors informed of what was happening in Washington and nationally and professionally across the board. I was very busy. But I didn't know anything about helping people the Lord's way. But God was gracious. He began teaching me. I studied, I wrote. And this big book, A Love Story of the Ages, called Love is Here, was one of the results of my studying. And we've been working through it. And we were studying how humanity is basically a spiritual multitude that does not understand anything. And we had been listening to a young man who was talking to the multitudes about seeds and being thrown out in the field, and how some got picked up by birds and some got thrown on the wayside, some got thrown on rocks, and some got planted in the earth and grew, and how some people sit and listen to truth or knowledge or whatever, and they hear it, but they don't hear it. They see it, but they don't understand it. So we're going to pick up again. We were working in some scriptures out of the Authorized King James Bible called Matthew 13, verses 15 through 17. And we had been working through, with the help of the Webster's dictionary, to understand words. You don't realize that when you become a student, I had to learn and study through the Strong's Concordance, which would help me to understand a word out of the Bible, either in Hebrew or Greek. And then I still had to use the Webster's dictionary. Sometimes God would have me study one word to look up all the many different definitions. So in my learning how to help you the Lord's way and understanding His agape love and the mess humanity is in, and has been in, since the days we lost the light of the Holy Spirit in the Garden of Eden and became flesh creatures. So here in this part, number 8, we're picking up, as I said, in Matthew 13, 15 through 17. And this is verse number 15. And these were some of the disciples of this young Christ, asking him a question. Why do some people hear but do not understand? You think everybody that hears what you say understands? Let me tell you about a young lady I was working with years ago. She was from multi-generational Satanist, witchcraft, hardcore Satanist, filled with demonic spirits, multiple personalities. So I would say something to her, and I would say, please repeat to me what I just said. I wanted to make sure she understood and heard what I said. So she would repeat some words back to me, and I said, that's not what I said. She said, but that's what I heard. I learned there was a spiritual, demonic, evil, wicked spirit called a scrambler between my mouth and her ears, or they were inside of her brain. They would scramble what I said so she would not hear what I had said. You have to hear it correctly, but you still may not understand it. And that's what this young man was saying. And even his disciples went on and said, well, they hear, they don't seem to understand. And seeing, like you show them an example of something, like tell them a story, a fable, a parable, they don't perceive, they don't understand. And this Christ said to his disciples, for these people that hearing they don't hear and seeing they don't perceive, their hearts, that means their soul and their spirit, their minds, is waxed gross. Well, what does that mean? Never heard that before. Well, we're going to look to Webster's dictionary. In the Webster's dictionary, we learn what the word waxed means. Remember, we were told that these people's heart and mind is waxed gross. So in Webster's dictionary, number 1, something coated or treated with a wax substance to make it resistant to water and grease and used as a wrapping. Now that's interesting. The word gross, Gross, is defined by the Webster's dictionary as number 1, immediately obvious. Number 2, glaringly noticeable. Usually because of inexcusable badness or objectableness. Number 3, out and out, utter injustice. That's what gross means. Number 4, visible without the aid of a microscope. You can see it. Number 5, big, bulky, excessively fat. Number 6, this is the word gross now, Gross. Remember, we are told that the people's heart and mind is waxed, covered over with this substance, gross. Number 6, growing or spreading with excessive luxuriance. Number 7, of or relating to or dealing with general aspects of broad distinctions. Now this is all going to make sense in just a little bit. Number 8, consisting of an overall total exclusive of deductions. Number 9, made up material or perceptible elements. Number 10, undiscriminating. Number 11, unrefined. Number 12, gravely deficient in civility or decency. Cruelty, vulgar. Now that are some harsh words about gross. Deficient in knowledge, ignorant, untutored. Number 14, coarse and flagrant. Can you believe these descriptions that this young man is saying? 99.9% of humanity is. Their hearts and minds are waxed, covered over with a substance, gross. So a person's heart, his mind, his spirit, can be spiritually covered by a spiritual covering, a veil, a foreskin, sort of speaking, that is spiritually resistant to the spiritual words of the Most High God's, this Agape Love himself, spiritual kingdom of heaven, and its spiritual words of spirit and life. Even spiritual living water can't get through this wax grossness, this foreskin, this covering of the heart, this covering of the spirit. Also, a spirit man's spiritual heart and mind can be spiritually deficient in spiritual knowledge of the spiritual kingdom of heaven. I knew nothing when I was in religion most of my life that there was a kingdom of heaven and there was a king, and I was its minister, a king myself on earth. I had to learn this through Dr. Myles Munroe of the Bahamas Faith Ministries. He grew up in the Bahamas when it was a colony of England, and he learned British law, British language, English language, customs, the Queen, not African. And God took his childhood and he used that to teach us that we were ignorant spiritual kings from the kingdom of heaven on earth. And we didn't know it because we knew nothing of what a kingdom is. And nowadays, many people don't like kings. They want politicians. They want what you might call a different form of government. But the kingdom of heaven is a kingdom. And we learned that this young man named Christ Jesus, when he got arrested for blasphemy, because he was calling himself equal to God, the religious leaders arrested him and took him to Pilate. Pilate was a political leader, a politician of Caesar in Rome. This Christ Jesus didn't talk to the religious leaders. They were not a politician. A religious leader is not a king. So when this Jesus got before Pilate, now he would talk. He could talk king to king. And this Jesus said, I am a king from another kingdom. And if I gave the order, I could have 10,000 hosts of heaven down here. So he could talk to the politician, to a representative of Caesar. So I had to learn that I was a king spiritually. And God wanted to bring his kingdom of heaven here, through me, to nature, to humanity, on earth. But I didn't know that when I was in religion. So our hearts and our spiritual minds can be deficient in this knowledge of the spiritual kingdom of heaven, and we can be spiritually ignorant that we are kings. And we are in darkness, which means ignorance, even of the King of Heaven's Agape Love. And I want to end right here. I don't want to go too far, because this is deep stuff for us to understand. And we have to go slow. First, you have to recognize you're ignorant, and you don't know anything. Spirit, that's the truth. Even if you go to church and you're in religion, and you hear about heaven, and you hear about this Christ Jesus, you really don't know the truth of who he is and why you're even here on the planet. So in this love story of the ages, we're beginning to pull back the curtain, so to speak, the circumcision from the wax grossness that's over our hearts and minds. It took me many, many years of studying, reading Dr. Myles' books, which are still out in the bookstores, watching him live from the Bahamas as he taught, watched all his conferences, because he was an excellent teacher. He taught me I was an ignorant king, and I didn't know that I was. So I thank Dr. Myles Munroe. Him and his wife, Ruth, are now in heaven. But I was in ignorance. I had a wax grossness covering my mind, and I was listening to religion. I went to every denomination possible, trying to find truth. But you can't find this in religion. You can only find it from a kingdom of heaven teacher. Dr. Myles Munroe has all his videos on YouTube for free. He has his books in the bookstore. Go study. Learn who you really are. Let that wax grossness be peeled back, sort of circumcised, off of your mind, your heart, off of your ears, so you can see and know the truth about yourself and all of humanity. All right, I hope you enjoyed this teaching of Love is Here, the podcast show. A love story of the ages about agape love, the kingdom of heaven, and how us, humanity, and the spiritual multitudes need a lot of help. All right, I'll catch up with you in the next episode of this podcast show. Bye-bye.